Hey guys, Ben Xiong here from Australian Strength Performance. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit special. I want to refer back to one of our most popular videos on YouTube on the Sissy squat. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about this exercise, talk to you about the conditions where the Sissy squat is preferred, give you some variations of Sissy squats that you can do at home, and how to load it up for that little bit more of an extreme kick when you're in the gym. So let's get started. So the Sissy squat is what I call an extreme exercise. It's an extreme exercise because it pushes your joints to its extreme ranges. Now, the specific area I'm talking about is actually the knee joint, and the muscle that is in question is this particular muscle down here. If you flex it and you can see this teardrop muscle, we call this the vastus medialis oblique or the VMO. It's a teardrop muscle. Typically, when you go down in a squat, the deeper you go into a squat, the more of the fibers of the VMO you recruit. Now, the VMO is a knee stabilizer, a very important knee stabilizer. This is exactly why, typically when you look at someone doing an arse to grass squat, eventually they really stabilize their knees because that depth will start to recruit a lot of VMO fibers. Similarly, in the Sissy squat, the deeper you go, the more of those fibers you recruit. But if I go down into a full range of movement squat, you watch my knees and how much my knees extends forward is actually less than that of a Sissy squat. Now, in a Sissy squat, when you come forward, your knees are actually made to go forward first. You're pushing it as far forward as you can. In doing so, that range of movement is extreme. So, if you were to perform a Sissy squat, you have to make sure, for one, your knees are strong to start off with. Now, with the video that I was talking about, the very popular ASP video that you guys have commented about, you see that I put a lot of stress on my knees. I have healthy knees to start off with. I continually train my knees through a good range of movement, full ranges of movement, under heavier loads, pausing without bouncing. As a result of that, I've built strength to be able to perform that exercise. Now, there are definitely clients that I will not give this exercise to because it is dangerous. Everyone starts from a different place. If your clients have any sort of rehab issues or knee issues, this will not be an exercise that I would recommend. Nevertheless, if you do have healthy knees, then you need to try to edge yourself forward to strengthen your VMO, and the Sissy squat is a brilliant exercise to do that. Now, I'm going to give you some variations. If, let's say, you're not in a setting like a gym and you have to train a Sissy squat from your home, for example, then you can always use your body weight to start off with. And trust me, with body weight, a Sissy squat is anything but Sissy. Okay, you can really push yourself to do it. Now, I'm going to give you 3 variations of a Sissy squat that you can perform at home. Now, the first one is a beginner's Sissy squat. And this is how it goes. In this particular Sissy squat, I would use 2 main movements. As I come down, this is basically called my eccentric movement. I will ensure that I perform the Sissy squat as it should be. That means my knees go forward and my body is leaned back to maintain that maximal extension of my knees. As I come up, though, most of the time I may not have the strength to move back in the same position, and so I get back into a normal squatting position and I stand up. This particular type of squat accentuates the eccentric because I can lift a heavier load on the eccentric, and on the concentric, I basically get my quads and my glutes to help me up again. So a movement for a beginner will look like this. Obviously, I want to use something to support myself, and I would move down in this position. So my knees and my shoulders is in one line. I go forward. I'm still working on the extension of my knees way past my toes. It is a strain. Now, at the bottom position, I don't bounce. I step back and I stand up. I try it again. I let myself down. I can do this because coming down, I can lift a lot of a heavier load and I can control myself better. Now, coming up will be difficult for a beginner, so I step back and I step up again. Okay? Third, watch this. Same thing. Balance yourself. Move down, back, step up again. That's the first variation of a Sissy squat for a beginner. Now, when you get to a little bit more of an advanced or an intermediate state, then you can literally balance yourself and perform a Sissy squat as it should be. So watch again. In this one, you come straight forward, knees past your toes, push backwards, up again, drop, 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 knees past your toes, up again. Now watch me as I come down. I really don't want to bounce at the bottom. I don't want to make use of that stretch shortening cycle to bounce up. I just want to hold that pause in my weakest position and push backwards. And that way, you really start to recruit those muscles of the VMO. This is where you want to get that bulbous VMO overhang of your teardrop. Okay, really good for your knees. As you do that again, keeping my body, my shoulders and my knees in one line, forward, pushing backwards as I stand up again. So this will be an intermediate Sissy squat. Now I'm going to bring you to a more advanced version of a Sissy squat, and this will strain the knees even further. You heard it right, even further, provided you have strong knees and you have developed an ability to be able to perform the beginner, the intermediate, and you need to progress yourself. So you might use a weight, for example, if you wanted to, a dumbbell of sorts or a bag, and I would stand on a platform. Now the platform allows me to stick my knees lower than where my feet are. So that extends my knees even more. But in doing this, as you can see, I don't have a balance around me. I'm just holding a weight. So you need to be highly balanced as well. So watch me as I hold the weight. And I come down in the same movement as the Sissy squat, right? But I'm leaning back and I'm counterbalancing. Knees all the way past. And coming up again, we're going to try this one more time. Hold that balance. Okay, so you watch me as I do this. It requires a lot more concentration. Now, because it requires so much concentration, this will not be an exercise that I'll put at the end. This will probably be a starting exercise for me if I'm doing the advanced version of it. Now, again, if I'm doing the beginner version or the intermediate version, I can put that at the end of my workout as an exercise to burn my quads out more, to burn my VMO out even more. So now, once you've learned these 3 variations that you can perform at home, let's move on to the gym, where you get to see more difficult variations. If you're fortunate enough to be in a gym that actually has a specialized piece of equipment for a Sissy squat, then that's brilliant. Now in this center, the Australian Strength Performance Center, we've got a piece here from Watson, and this is meant to be a Sissy squat piece of equipment. I know some of you argue this is not a Sissy squat, but this is what they call a Sissy squat piece of equipment. It's where you can lock your legs underneath and you perform a squat that again stresses your knees. Now, the movement on this piece of equipment is actually different from the Sissy squats that I performed just using a body weight, okay? The equipment is made like this, where you can lock your legs in and there is a platform down here. And this basically locks you into position, and all you got to do is actually sit all the way back. This allows you to move into a deep position all the way down and up. But you can watch my knees don't actually go past my toes. Nevertheless, it is still being strained. Now, in order to strain my VMOs a little bit more, this is where you guys watched the video and you went, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy, he's gonna bust his knees out. Knees are strong, legs are strong. This was what I did in the video, where I leaned all the way back and up again, straining my knees. But in this position, you watch, my knees don't actually travel past my toes, right? So I actually need to let my body lean back, because that weight actually now starts to strain or stress the VMOs as I need it to. So I'm not heavy for myself, essentially. In this particular machine, a Sissy squat is done exactly this way. You can go all the way down and you come up. So you can be holding a weight by your side, you can be holding a weight on your back to be able to perform a Sissy squat in this movement. You can watch that my butt goes all the way down, maximal range until I can't go down anymore, and then I come up. A way to actually load this up a little bit more, apart from the way I did it just now, where you leaned all the way back, is to load it up with a barbell. So you can use this, and I really like a front-loaded Sissy squat. This is where you get the barbell, you hold it like front squat, and you squat all the way down, because where the bar is being placed sits exactly where the center of gravity is, that digs you right down exactly where you need to be to stress your quads. So if I bring this up, holding in front squat position, I get into my sissies. Make sure that everything is tight and locked in, and then you go down. So you take your time. Again, watch me at the bottom position. I don't bounce. I want to keep that pause and then come up again. So, again, one thing I have to point out is I really like how it loads on the front as opposed to the back with this one, because in a sissy squat, essentially, when you are leaning back, you're loading yourself a lot more. So a front-loaded sissy squat sits more central to your center of gravity to allow you to move in that movement or that motion that the machine is intended. Now, if you put it in your back, you can do it, but there's a tendency to lean forward, and that detracts from the particular range of movement that this is intended to. So a front-loaded sissy squat as such for this machine is great. Here's your quick tutorial on a sissy squat. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Now remember to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments section below what else you would like to hear from us. Till then, we'll see you soon.